Hey there, my name is John Ellison. I'm an entrepreneur on a mission, and today is day 10 of my little 30-day series I decided to do out of the blue. So today I'm going to share with you my perspective on food and how my wife and I went on a journey to learning that food was one of the most important and essential resources that we had in our lives. I grew up as an American eating microwave pizzas and macaroni and cheese and ramen noodles and of course, some home-cooked food every now and then. I'm sure more frequently than I remember, but I was just eating the normal American stuff, hot wings and burgers and all of that. And when I moved out to go to university, I remember my first semester in Israel, when I was studying abroad, my roommate was an older gentleman who was pretty shocked to see that I just didn't know how to cook. I literally had no idea. So he taught me kind of the basics of frying up onions and garlic and such, but I really had no clue. So when I met my wife, Sophie, she was quite surprised that I didn't even know what a leek was. But we had this amazing and intense transition where we'd just gotten married and my wife Sophie was struggling with a lot of digestive issues in the year leading up to our wedding. She contracted typhoid in India during our time there, and unfortunately took loads and loads of antibiotics to try and kill it. When we first moved back to America from India, she had lots of digestive issues still, and this gastroenterologist prescribed her with a sort of experimental antibiotic because he thought there was still bacteria in her system. Now, for the life of me, I don't know why he didn't test to see if she had that bacteria or not. But basically, when we got married and came back, her digestive system just stopped working. It just wouldn't process food. She was losing energy. She had to drop out of university. And I remember this one really terrifying moment when her energy was so low and the food was just going through her system without taking any nutrients into her bloodstream. Where we were eating a meal and she was holding her fork and her hand was shaking because she was just so weak that she couldn't even eat. And we were, feeding her so many meals a day and it just wasn't working. And so after, basically giving up on traditional medicine, having seen so many doctors who basically just said, hey, you've probably got ulcerative colitis or IBS or Crohn's disease or whatever, we're going to go in and do some endoscopies and take out some samples and see what's going on. We were really disheartened and we were scared. And we actually found this other type of medicine that is evidence-based called functional medicine. And I remember sitting in the doctor's office meeting with this guy. I remember his name, Dr. Wallert. And he talked this systematic approach to health that functional medicine used that was evidence-based and took lots of tests to try and understand what are the cellular deficiencies, what are the underlying dysfunctions in your system that could be causing these symptoms to emerge. And he really moved me from a place of despair to a place of hope by sharing this hypothesis that Sophie had what was known as a leaky gut. And that was caused ultimately by all of the antibiotics that she had taken over the past years. And a life of just eating processed foods and all of that had led her to be susceptible, such that when she got typhoid and the lining of her intestine began to thin, because that's one of the things that typhoid does, the antibiotics came in and wiped out all of the bacteria, beneficial and pathogenic. And suddenly the barrier that was preventing things from passing into her bloodstream, into triggering her immune system, was gone. And that's what they call a leaky gut. And we realized that actually every time she was eating food, there were certain foods and certain things in the foods that were triggering her immune system to react in a very unhealthy and aggressive way. And so Dr. Waller recommended we go 100% organic. We take out loads of different foods that could be triggers. We removed all processed food, ate only raw, whole foods cooked from scratch. And within 3 weeks, she started to digest food properly and have energy again. and I remember we would only eat a handful of ingredients, and I was there with her, and it was really, really hard. But over the last, I guess it's now 5 or 6 years, we've suddenly found ourselves in a normal life again, eating just about everything. And now food is this really precious thing that we value, and we so appreciate good, fresh, delicious produce. And we eat far less meat and far less fish than we used to. Growing up as an American, vegetables were always just a side. But now here I am sitting behind what looks like a wall of mange tout, and interplanted is some spinach and other greens, and we are so excited about learning how to grow our own food such that it can be as fresh and organic as possible. It's really an amazing process to be able to see what it's like to plant a seed and watch it germinate and then take it outside into the elements, plant it into soil that you've prepared by hand over the seasons, and watch these things grow. It really is an amazing process watching vegetables come to life and tasting them and seeing that actually it's really hard work, and that I totally respect farmers. And this for me has been a massive transformation from eating microwave pizzas, DiGiorno I think the brand was, and macaroni and cheese and all of that stuff that is so processed and just not very good for you, to being in this place now in England with an incredibly strong appreciation and passion for vegetables and fruit and things done right. And we are willing to pay more for our food because it is our fuel for our body and our mind. And I'm so happy to not eat out as often. I'm so happy to buy less clothes. I'm sure you've seen that I basically only have a few things that I wear. I'm so happy to drink less alcohol in exchange for really delicious fresh food, because that is the baseline of everything that I do, of how I operate and how I think. So that is a huge part of what we're doing at Goodery, is trying to make delicious organic food more accessible, to make it easier to buy, to make it more affordable. And we're on a journey. We're starting out small, but my vision over the next 3 years is to have thousands of families across East Anglia who would never have dreamt of buying organic, buying their weekly shop from Goodery in a way that's zero waste, it's supporting the local economy, and it's carbon neutral from day one. I'm really excited about what we're working on. Can't wait to share more. See ya.